Okay, in this video, we're still working on agents. And basically, what we did was we created a simple agent in Bedrock. We then added a knowledge base, and then we added action group. The action group was used to determine the pricing. The knowledge base was used with a PDF file, which the agent, basically inquired when we needed information about gutters. This was a gutter agent. It was supposed to be an agent for gutter repair companies. And we're just doing some experimenting and defining an agent. Now, one thing you have to realize is I am building a master agent which delegates gutter questions and references to the gutter agent. Just like if I asked a question about paving a driveway, it would get routed over to the paving agent. So I'm building a scalable system where we could customize each sub-agent, and architecturally it's fairly simple. And the agents right now are not communicating with each other. The sub-agents are not communicating with each other. But what I want to do now is I want to get Claude Code to call an agent for me. Okay, so first what I'm gonna do is do this. See if this works. Create. I'm going to tell it to create a Claude folder. And my skill is at my root directory. And it's asking me the name. Now the Claude folder is the folder, the directory name. So what I'm going to do is call this call agent. I'm going to just call it call agent. Let's see what happens here. So this skill I have in the base directory of Claude is going to create the directory. It's supposed to create my folders, create my README file, my Claude.md file, create a source folder, an output files folder, create an it will create an environment file, but it's really using the base environment file. Notice it's using Python 3.14, which is great. And I'm just going to let it do its thing. Right now I'm just approving each command. This is only like the third time I ran this skill, so I don't really have to keep approving these all the time as long as I see it's working for a couple of examples. But right now I'm doing this. Now remember, my skill is in the root folder at the level of my base directory, my root directory. But I'm trying to create a folder under the documents directory, which has this new call agent code or file structure to start off with. So it's supposed to create all these things. It's supposed to CD into these things. My IDE, which is Visual Source Code, should basically show up my call, show my call agent directory and start a new Claude context. So basically, I'm waiting for that to happen here. Keep in mind, I don't have everything in my folder because I'm doing simple things here. So now it initialized the Git repository. It's going to push everything into GitHub, creating a repo name. Let's see what happens here. I got a 201. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a web page which calls the the agent that we just developed. And I'm going to test it the same way I tested it in the playground. So implicitly, the only questions I have is, am I calling my agent? Is it working? And if it's not working like it's working in the playground, I gotta wonder why not. And just for your knowledge, the Bedrock observability, it's there, but it's not like Agent Core. My agent right now is running in Bedrock in the Bedrock runtime. It's not running in Agent Core. Agent Core runtime, if it was, I would get the security, I would get the observability, I would get the tracing of all the spans, and I'm not, at the moment, I don't even have time to go check that right now. I just want to see if my agent, and I call my agent in Bedrock, whether first of all it works, secondly it gives consistent results. So that's what's happening here right now. Now Claude Code generates Python, and I think I gave it instructions to store it in the source folder. Right now it should have a virtual environment for Python in the folder, and it should have an environment file for the project. So this is my environment file for the project. And my skill I have here, I'm going to give this a name, call agent, but all my GitHub variables are in my root folder, and it's using those, and I want to overwrite the GitHub repo. I think I might have removed the GitHub repo because I want it knows it has my GitHub account, and it's just creating a folder and storing the code. So let's make sure that happens. Now it's always good I find it's always good practice that when I make changes to some of these files, I tell Claude to fix all the code. And what I see it doing is if it's using a variable like GitHub repo, it might have to change something in the code, or it might have to install something like .env to do what it needs to do. But at this point, I just want to see something work. So I still haven't. I'm trying to log in with Claude Code. That question I was asked. That question that was asked was supposed to authenticate with Claude Code. Let's just see if it works first. Okay, so now what's going on here is now I have my directory structure. Now it's trying to sign in. I have to sign into Claude AI for a lot of this stuff to work. I think I even have some keys there, and I'm using some tokens there, so I want this to succeed. And since this is taking a lot of time, I don't suspect it's going to succeed. So what I'm going to do is go over here to Claude Code. No, this is Claude, this is the browser extension. And let me see how I could do this. Now, I notice as I'm working on this, there's something I missed out when I created this skill, and obviously it's not. I have to do this manually, which, let's see what happened here. That might have worked. Let's just try this. I don't. Okay, so let's switch over to Claude Code here. Now, since I have my directory, now creating a directory, switching Claude to that directory, and creating all my files is my first step. Now, usually I say create an environment file, give it instructions. Give it instructions, and it could do one phase at a time. You just keep telling it what to do, and eventually it has a Claude folder here with commands, and I have a call agent skill here, which I created. It's like a dummy file. I haven't defined it yet, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that now. So here's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm going to start recording. First, I'm going to go into plan mode. Plan mode, it uses Opus, and it does better planning. So let me start talking to this thing and plan out what I want to do. I'm going to create an application that has a chat window page, a single page with a chat window, and it talks to my agent in Bedrock, and I'm going to give you the ARN soon. And basically what it's going to do is talk to the agent, and I'm going to ask it pricing questions on gutters for home remodeling. I'm going to ask for information about gutters, types of gutters and stuff. It's going to use the knowledge base. And what I want to do is I want to use the environment properties to define my GitHub repo. I want GitHub to be working, and every time we plan something, I want it built and executed, and I'll approve every command that's being made so I understand what's going on. Now, in the result, I want this written in React framework. I want the page coming up, and I want to view it locally on my system and basically be able to chat to the agent via ARN. Now, the ARN I want in the environment file, and I'm going to give you that in a minute. But use a bold, explicit font, theme, vibe, whatever you want to call it, and make sure that we use the production profile. So we need a variable. never mind. I'll check those variables in the base config file. But use the profile for production from the base scale base environment, and the account. I don't use the account with my profile in my credentials file, and use the West region. These variables should be defined in my base environment file. So do that, and the agent is in the West region. Create a README file, a Claude MD file. Well, let's say update all files. Update all files in a directory to and fix them all so that my plan is executed and all files are updated. All Python files should go in the source directory. And let's get started. I'm just going to submit that. That was really wordy. That was really wordy. I'm still in plan mode, so let me try to get out of that. Well, let's let this run first. I'm going to go over here right now because I feel like my skill that I first used, I told it to push the code, but I didn't see that happening. Okay, let me just look at this. So there's a very basic README file here, and the files didn't get pushed. I didn't see that happening. Maybe I yes everything to death, so that could be a problem. But until Claude does something and produce some software, I am not going to worry about this. Okay, so it's reading things and modifying things based on my plan, and now there is an effort. There is a way to see how much effort you're doing. Right now, with plan mode, it's using a more expensive Opus model, and it's also charging me a little bit more. But there's different levels of effort you could use when you're doing tasks. So I'm going to let this play out and see what happens. So notice my first skill came from my root directory. It created a folder, created call it a project, call it a folder. It's really, I'm calling it a Claude project really. And basically it's setting me up for being able to use Python. Oh, right now it's using, looks like it might be using Node. In my plan, I didn't tell it to use Python. So it's just going to do what it wants, but that is, I think in my base skill, I said I wanted to use Python, so that, and you know, it is using a virtual environment. It's using Python. So I don't know. I, you know, I tend to let this play out to see what happens here. But oh, why is it using Angular? I'm not going to worry too much about this. I really don't care what it's built in as long as it works. Let's take a look and see what's happening here. Under source, these are my Python directories, Python packages. I'm a little bit, I don't understand why it's going into one of my websites that I created for Home Task Client. This client is the one that calls my master ARN. So maybe it's thinking I should be using that one. So let's see, did it define an ARN here? Oh, maybe the base directory is pointing to that ARN. But so anyway, but basically what we're going to do is see what happens here, and we're going to get into task mode, get into Sonnet, and start executing some tasks. Right now, it looks like it's analyzing this home task client. Was the one I created for my master ARN, which works. So I don't know what Claude's doing right now, but it should create the client in this directory. And if it doesn't, then my instruction, my planning, I'm going to have to refocus, change my plan, and update it so that it does the right thing. This is definitely taking a long time. So right now it doesn't seem like the plan is even executing. We're just trying to make a plan. Claude will ask me whether it approves of all the changes it's going to make. So that's when I could go into plan mode and tell it to change the plan. But I believe I gave a plan like this, and what it's supposed to do is create a front end app here. It's supposed to have the environmental variable for the ARN over here. I'm hoping that this is just trying to find out, how I'm using React in the other projects. And see, this is the website. This is an official website. So it's going in here, which I haven't even. This is the full-blown website, and I generated it. This has everything I need in it, but I didn't even test that yet. So and I think I might have defined the style I want in there. Yeah, I also externalized the CSS theme out of there. So if it copies that and does it the same way, I'm okay with it. But I really don't like what it's doing right now. It didn't have to do all this. I want a simple web page which calls my ARN. I didn't tell it to review all my documents, projects, and try to do something that had anything to do with them. Now it's true, Claude Plan Mode is trying to plan out what it needs to do, and that's what Claude makes IDE plugin a little bit different than. Now it makes things a little bit different than the other competitors. It doesn't. You don't really have to tell it what to do and how to do it. It's figuring out what it should do. It just wants to know what is the result of what you're trying to create. And I made it clear. I kind of made it clear. I didn't give it the ARN for the agent. So it's using. Notice here it's using. I'm gonna just auto accept. It's using React and Fast API and Bedrock. I'm fine. There's no way I could go through everything and try to figure out what it's doing is correct. So I just approved it. And now notice I'm out of plan mode. It's going to start doing things. It's running tasks. It's telling me what it's doing. It's going to create the requirements, install Python dependencies, scaffold, React, create some Python, create all front-end sources, theme, chat hooks, services, update the environment, Bedrock agent ARN placeholder, and start backend and verify local doc loads, start front end and verify URLs. Tells me what URL it's using and what port is using. So anyway, to step back, since I have the agent ARN, okay, what I need to know is I could create an Angular or React app and call the ARN, and the chatbot needs to send the request to the agent, get the response. Send the request to the agent, get a response. It's going to act like a chat app. Now, I could have wrote that myself and done this myself just by scaffolding a React app and creating a web service to call. But I really don't want to do that. I mean, I've been creating apps for 30 years. This is a real simple app. If I need to build something commercial later on, I'll do it. But what I'm doing is showing you, I'm going to show you the code that is used to call the agent. And that's to close the loop on creating an agent and calling the agent. Now keep in mind the agent could be, I could access that agent from other agents. I could access it from an MCP endpoint. I really haven't defined what I want to do right now, except for the fact that, yes, my master agent is calling it already. So it is routing. My master agent is routing any gutter request to this gutter agent. So now let's talk about what's happening here. The Bedrock agent ARN. I don't know if that exists somewhere. It's going to try to look it up, or else I have to define it over here. But I do want to define it over here because this is my agent for the gutter agent, and that is basically local to this project, because all I'm doing with this project is demonstrating if you have the ARN here, you could just call it and talk to it. Meanwhile, the clock is ticking. We're on 30 minutes now, but this is an important step. Now, the alternative is fire up PyCharm, create some Python code, just use strands, call the agent, or let's see, strands, call the agent. You would need a Bedrock runtime. You could do something of that nature, and guess what? I don't want to. Now, with that said, I noticed I did not tell the client to use strands, so I'm going to change that. Possibly. I just want to make sure that it's calling the agent first. Now, I saw a video last night which was very interesting. And yes, I think it's kind of concerning because Claude, I think 5, it is writing itself. It's got skills, and Claude is upgrading Claude without any manual intervention. So basically, I'll give you an idea. Once this is done, I'm going to tell it to fix the whole project and add the environment variable. Okay, so let's see what it's doing now. Oh, it's still over here, but this is fine. This is fine because you want to get all this stuff done and you want it to work. You don't want to struggle with anything that's broken. So this should happen. The next check boxes should happen simple, quickly. Let's see what it does. Okay, now I was the other day I was comparing this. Amazon has a new development environment called Cairo, K-I-R-O, and it has specs, and in those specs you tell it what to do in these steps. And I found it, you could use them in Claude. I think Claude does the right thing, but I don't really care for defining these steps of what has to be done. I want Claude to do it, and that's the big difference with Claude. It seems like it doesn't want to know how to do things. It wants to tell you the steps it's going to take to get the job done, the one that you want. I want this application, calling this ARN, using this Bedrock agent. It doesn't want to be forced to do things in a certain order. It wants to think itself and make sure it executes this to-do list, which that's the whole value of a plan. And it seems like Cairo, it's not a plugin. It actually is a new version of VS Code with Amazon's touch on top of it. It's almost a replacement for Cursor, so they say. But you do have to write a lot more specs and requirements, and that's not Claude's style. Claude, and I was trying to compare these two. I don't want Claude bringing me down a rabbit hole, but at the same time, I want Claude to have the freedom to do what I think it should do and get it right. So I'm in a Claude session and I'm telling it what to do. This plan, it's doing what it wants to do in the order it wants to do it. And all of these, I should have just let it do what it wanted to do. Let's see what Bedrock ARN, let's just go see what that is. Agent details is right here. Here's my ARN. This point in my production account, the West region, and the ID of the agent. This is the alias, I guess, the alias of the agent. So let's go back over here. The other thing Claude is doing, which I really like, is it kills the processes. Because if you have to do it yourself, you're struggling trying to find out what's running and why is Claude having a problem. And yeah, I don't really need a backend server running right now, so it's doing the right thing. My React code should be talking directly to my Bedrock agent in AWS. So and like I said, I should be putting on auto approve, because half these things I don't. Let's see what happens here. And there's no doubt it's doing stuff, back in the Unix days that I don't care to see. But if it was automatic, it would just not query me for anything. Just do it. And trust me, these things get in the way. So you want Claude doing these things for you. There's no doubt. So let's see if any of this stuff works. I did just edit this file. Let me save this thing. Oh. I don't know what just happened. It seemed like it. So this doesn't usually take this long, the API and stuff. It's now about my architecture of my program. Claude will tell me what it's doing, but the React app has to talk to something. It might be talking to a Python main program. I don't know, but the program has to eventually call Bedrock API. notice it just went into settings and modified some permissions. So that's now it says it's done. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, since it's not clear this file, okay, I'm just gonna save all files, and then I'm going to say fix all files to use environment. Let me see what this does. The concern here is that the Bedrock agent ARN wasn't defined. I defined it while the plan was executing, so I just want to make sure that so now it's updating the agent Python. So notice it's hard for me to determine what to do here, but I can tell you that this environment is overriding the environment I have defined in my root directory. So my GitHub key, my topic key, my region is the West region, count is production, all that stuff's being used. So if it doesn't work, I have to go back there and check everything again. And my GitHub token could expire, but it looks like it's still working because it saved my project. Okay, so now these things are running. So now it's telling me to run this in my browser. I could click this here. Oh, here it is. And notice what it generated for me. It generated this web page, nice little web page. Get instant guttering, remodeling estimates. Okay, so describe one. Okay, so replace. This is an example. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna say 100 feet of gutter Let me see if I send this, what happens. Okay, this is correct. So we just wrote front end a chatbot which gave it 100 feet into the agent. The agent saw I was looking for a price and invoked the action group. The action group invoked a lambda. And that lambda took this 100 feet and multiplied it by 10 just to give me a fictitious price. it could have went to DynamoDB. It could have done any kind of cost calculation you wanted, but that went through the action group. Now let me try this. Get the types of gutters that can be used for home run. Seamless gutters, larger capacity gutters, gutters with no holes, some of the types of gutters that can be used for home renovation. And it's giving a description. Now, I just want to tell you, this description is most likely coming from the knowledge base, because I have a PDF document that I downloaded from the web. I put it in the knowledge base, and I told the agent that all general information should come from that knowledge base. So the PDF file that's in S3, I created a vector database. It actually went into Elasticsearch. I'm going to call it OpenSearch, but I recognize this response from the playground, and my agent just want to point out, I'm controlling my agent where it's getting its information, how it's getting its information. The model that the agent's using is a Nova Pro model. It could answer this question probably in format better at the response and everything like that. But I told it to mandatory to go into the knowledge base and get the answer. So this is an answer that I've overridden. Now, the large language model is Nova Pro, so it can get information and it could give good responses, nice formatted responses. If I used Anthropic, I would get nicer responses. So I guess should be careful saying that. But the point is that I can control the speed and accuracy of my agent. I could look at the we talked about observability. I could talk about the security. I don't okay, the things that I didn't verify, which I usually do, is did it use my credentials? Can anyone access this ARN? The answer is no. It's using my credentials. I'm an administrator, so it allowed me to do that. Most likely, okay, I'm going to say. And the other thing is, like I said, so you got to understand what you want to use, how you want to use it, and what order you might want to use it in. So if I use a large language model called Nova Pro and I ask this question, I would have got an answer. If I tell the agent it has to use a knowledge base because my company only specializes in certain gutters, they don't do other gutters, give me the information pertaining to gutters that I want this contractor to talk about. So the bottom line is, I could then ask a question: do you need a contractor? I could say, find me a contractor near the zip code, and it would give a result. How would I define how that result is given? It would be a find contractors functionality, and I would look for contractors who have subscribed to the service, who basically want to do work for homeowners that are doing gutter projects. So I think that's all we really wanted to see. I mean, I think this was really good. I mean, it was a long video, but the outcome was success. I'm very sure of it. Um, if I was just hitting the large language model from the agent and I wasn't going to the action groups and wasn't going into the knowledge base, I would know it. You'd see a long-winded, formatted response, which might even be better than what I'm showing here. It's just that way. So the idea isn't to give the best output. The idea is to give a customer in a region the output dealing with contractors in the region that could deliver and give price quotes right away, and help the customer get it done quickly. Now, people don't even like, home remodelers don't like giving price quotes. They want to come over your house and do that. I'm trying to change that. I want to say what I want to. I want to say what I want to spend, and I want to tell them. I want them to say they'll do it, and this is what they can do. That's simple. I might even do legal contracts to get half the money up front, stuff like that. But anyway, I'm going on. Keep in mind that I have the front end application. This is my front end app. It's React. Do I need to understand this? I will if my model breaks, but I could tell Claude to fix it if it does. So here's my package.json file, and it's even capable of generating lint reports and stuff like that. This looks really good. And I think the front end looks really good. Now, how did it pick these colors? I must have in my I don't know how it did that, but anyway, let's just end this. But the thing is that in my when I said to generate this, I must have said what kind of vibe to use, what kind of theme to use, and I forgot where. I did it several ways, many times, so I don't know. Let me just do this. Let me do a push. Okay, it's I want to save my React app. Now this is, in my eyes, this is really beautiful. I mean, I don't want to spend time on GitHub and README files and all this junk. Let's just see what happened here. Okay, so let's go look at GitHub now. Okay, so I got everything in GitHub. And keep in mind that my README file is still kind of simple. There's really not much to it, but I'll take whatever it has as long as I save the source code, right? Just to show you the main program it was using, it did look at environment variables and figure out what to use. So very good. So this Python was posting the prompts. So anyway, that's all you wanted to show. Thank you for joining, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.